Hey everybody, I'm Joey Evans, and today we are taking a look at Episode 2, Vengeance Roll and Fight. This is a roll and write, get it? Roll and fight, roll and write. That is based on the Vengeance book, which I have not, the Vengeance game, which I have not played. But I was pretty excited to try this. My wife demoed it at Gen Con, and she said she loved it. So when I was able to get my hands on Episode 2, I thought I'd try that. I know Mike DeLisio has taken a look at the solo review of, I think, the first episode of Roll and Fight. So I'm looking at the multiplayer and of Episode 2, which I think are very similar. But anyway, before we get into the review, what I thought about it, here's a quick, brief overview about how it's played. Okay, so we are set up for Episode 2, Vengeance Roll and Fight here. Now, I'm going to give you a quick overview about how the game is played. Again, this is not going to be all the rules. I'm going to try to get through this quickly and just kind of give you an idea on this. So this is a setup for 4 players. Obviously, only 1 player is showing here. Everyone's going to get a character. You've got your character here and a bit of an asymmetric ability here. You're going to have your boss. Your boss is right over here that you're going to try to defeat, and he has a bit of asymmetry as well, a different ability for him. And you're going to place your token here. Pretty much what's going to happen is it's played over 4 rounds. You're going to try to go through here, and you're going to get points by kind of clearing different rooms, getting objectives, and go through, move, and hit, and shoot, and go through and try to get all these guys. And this is the rule book here. And in here, it has got round of play. Like I said, each round is 4 phases. Flashback phase, rolling phase, fighting phase, resolution phase. And then after the 4th round, the game ends and you proceed to final scoring. So, how does this work? Let's go ahead and go through this first. First, you have the flashback phase. Flashback phase, everyone's going to get 4 of these dice right here, the fighting dice. And then also, one person's going to roll these 3 flashback dice right here. And these are placed out. And depending on the symbol that's shown, you're going to be able to do that on your board. And these symbols are what kind of lets you activate different things. So first off, let's go through lightning. Lightning right here. If you've got lightning, you're going to circle this and start doing these. And if you get lightning, that's training, and that is going to allow you to purchase different abilities up here, the different bot abilities, which are going to be added to this row here to give you more things to use your dice on. So that's lightning. Then you've got the hearts. Hearts are going to give you more health. You can actually heal too, or you can actually add more to your max health. So you can box this up and then cross it off. So really what you're going to do is this is adding, and then you can go ahead and add that health that way. So that is hearts. And then you've got the stars. Stars are loot. These are going to give you victory points at the end, or instead of that, you can go ahead and activate the heart or the binoculars and things like that. Speaking of binoculars, what are those? Well, right over here, you've got binoculars. So that means if I were to use these here, I would get a free move. So you can use those binoculars for one of these, only costs 1, or if you have 2, you can use it for something that costs 2 to give you an extra move, punch, fire, or maybe a charge if you had 2. And then also on here, let's see here, there's the double where you get to choose one and all of that. One more thing too is everyone gets to get these 3. In addition, they get plus 1 more. So you're going to get 1 more of those as well. So that is your flashback dice. So everybody's going to get that. And then you go into the phase. This is where it gets interesting. You're going to roll these. Now when you roll, you can re-roll everything except for these right here. So if I have these 2, if I have this, I can't re-roll this. So I take a look right here. Anything you can match. Remember, these are the ones, these are my abilities. These are the ones I have to buy. Those are not active yet. So, and if I wanted to do through the flashback phase, I could have bought more under training, but I did not do that. So anyway, what this phase is going to be is you're going to take these 2 right here, and I'm going to set this so then in the next phase, I'll be able to run. And now, because I did that, I load back up to 4, and I can take one of these die that showed this face over here and then re-roll. So I keep trying to re-roll and trying to get these different things here. Like right here, I've got 1 machete, 2 machetes, and I keep rolling. There we go. So I've got 3 here. Just like that, and then I grab 3 more. The interesting thing about this is you're doing this as everyone else at the table is as well. Everyone's going as fast as possible and trying to roll and pull these dice back and forth, back and forth. So you're going to load up these actions. So for the next phase, then you're going to perform the actions over here. So you keep going forward and forward. One thing about these are, if there's a couple of them and you honestly can't roll anything more because these kind of have you kind of stuck, what you could do is you can take one over here and take it as a hit, and then you're able to re-roll everything. Okay? So that's what you're doing. You're kind of going and placing them through there. Now, that's the rolling of the fighting dice. One thing is, when you go through this phase, like I said, you can buy abilities. And the items, that is one thing I did not cover. That's the brass knuckles. The brass knuckles are, when you get that, you get to get one of these items, and you'll do it just like this. So in the next phase, you get to use that item. At any time you want to, you can use it. This is a shoot. You can turn one shoot into two shoots. You can use it a free move, a heal and a heal. Kill one of these guys in a room with no enemies. So every one of these items gives you something different to do. So that's the rolling. One thing is, I did not fill out this, so we're going to say that I went ahead and added more health and whatever, and we got some loot, and I used an item. So flashback phase, right here. Rolling phase, here we go. We did the rolling phase, and then we are going into the fighting phase, and that is when everything is through here. Okay, so now we go to the fighting phase over here. Now you're going to notice there are some different thugs through here, and you've got this that tells you what exactly everybody does. You're going to see these different bad guys through all these. And all these guys have different abilities and different things they can do. So when you go to the fighting phase, first off, you've got the grunts, these guys right here, and they have to be eliminated before you can hit a boss in the same room. And your boss is going to be here. So this is where this guy is. Then you've got the henchmen, which are the red guys right over here, and they can hit players in the same room at the end of the resolution phase. So if you ever stop here and this guy is here with you, he's going to give you a wound. And then you've got the tough guys, these guys, and actually they have 2 hearts on here, so it takes 2 hits to take them out. And then on top of that, you've got blockers, and these guys right here, these guys, the players cannot move out of a room with one of those guys in it. And one other guy is the gunman. This guy, you'll see that he obviously has a gun on him right there too. So he can actually hit you from an adjacent room. So if you're over here, the gunman can still hit you from there. So those are different types of guys you're going to encounter as you move through and try to clear as much as you can of this board. And notice the hit points for the henchman is down here. The interesting thing is you can kind of play this whole game and not go after the boss. So pretty much, if I had this right here, I got these from my phases. We've got 2 moves. So what's going to happen is, let's see here, I can move, use one move to go here, just like this. Here we go. Boom. All right, so I got rid of that move. And then I've got a fire. All right, so shoot. So we could do the shoot. Tell you what, before I moved, I will do my shoot right here. I'll turn one shoot into a shoot plus shoot. So there we go. I shoot in here, boom, boom. I hit this guy twice. So he's gone. All right, then I use a move to move in there. And then I can punch. One punch is going to take care of this guy. Boom, boom. All right, so you continue to do that. Use different things you have to move around the board to take these guys out one at a time. And eventually you can also complete these objectives to get you more victory points. You can move through here. You can hit the henchman, who's going to have more of these different hit points you have to take out. So you're going to kind of use all of these to move across the board, and also later use more of your abilities that will give you things like run and gun, knife throw, all this. So you're going to use these dice to move across the board and cross these guys off. And that is the fighting phase. And the rest of the thing is too, on the fighting phase, is any of these that you circled as binoculars mentioned before, those are free actions that you can do during this phase. So even though you have 4 dice here, if this is shuffled, if this is circled, then you can use an extra move to kind of move progressively through more. Okay, and finally is the resolution phase. In this resolution phase, you're going to clear any of these that you didn't use because their effect is lost. Those don't carry over. You're also going to take any loot flashback actions per these right over here. And you can also collect loot from these. So any room that you have cleared, you actually get that loot over here. Or, of course, you use a star for something else as well. You're going to get your wounds if you're ever in with someone that's going to wound you at the end. And one thing I will say is if your health ever goes all the way up and you're dead, you're not really dead, you've taken a beating. So you're going to get this. So instead of 4 die, you are going to have 3 die to roll, 3 dice to roll, and then you would die after that. And then also, any of these minions, there's also a chance different things can let you evade, which means you don't battle them there, but you can evade them, and you would also clear them. We didn't get into evade, but that's something else you can do instead of shooting them. And that's it. After 4 rounds, you're going to count up all your points. Your points are going to come from various places. Training can get you some at the end. Loot can get you some at the end. The boss, actually, depending on how hard you hit him, how high his hit points are knocked off, you're going to get points from that, points from there. So various sources. You're going to count off all your points that you've gotten, add them up, and you're going to compare them to everybody, which is nice. The scoring has this right here that you're going to have. The den objectives, the boss, training, loot, and escape. That is one thing. Depending on where you stay, if you're way back here, you have got to make sure you have a clear path. No henchmen in your way to actually get out. And if you don't, you're going to lose points depending on who can hit you on the way out. So then you get your total, and that is it. And that is how you play, in a nutshell, Vengeance Roll and Fight Season 2, Episode 2. Okay, that is it. And then pretty much that is a very quick and brief overview about how it's played. Again, I did not go into all the rules, the different things, the different keywords. There's a lot more to it, but that's pretty much a simple way so you can kind of know how the game is played. First off, let's go to the rule book. The rule book for such a simple game, the rule book is very light. They have very nice setup illustrations here. One thing they don't do, though, is they mention things, and there could be more examples in the rulebook. That's just a lot of text. And also, the rulebook kind of jumps around a little bit. When they'll be explaining something, they'll go do like little basic abilities here, and they'll come back, and then you'll read it, and you're like, wait, what? And you go back. So you have to go back a couple times to realize that they jump around a little bit, like especially the dice rolling things. So it's actually... It's pretty simple the way it rolls and it moves, but the organization of the rule book leaves a bit to be desired. And another thing is the illustrations. The illustrations, I guess, are very based on that vengeance thug type of thing. And I think they're fine. There's a couple things like, I don't really see that somebody with a big middle finger towards the camera, like, draw me like this. That makes me look tough. And I'm kind of like, okay, well, whatever. So that's fine. But the illustrations are good, I mean, I like them. Again, could have done that middle finger. That's just me. I don't know. But it's very clever. I think the bosses look cool. I think how they look. One thing I will say is these little components, these little discs, as you move through, these are pretty cool. I kind of like that. I mean, they could have went for just a small token, but instead you're kind of sliding this around the map. Now, one thing is, too, when we talk about negatives, the dice. The dice are really good component-wise. They're great. But that'll be one thing that kind of real time, grabbing those dice and then being as quick as you can, because you can't overthink it. As you're rolling, you have to move them where you want them to go and grab more dice. So everyone's going for that center pool of dice faster than everyone else. That right there is going to be very divisive. Some people will not like that whole feeling of that very anxiety-driven dice roll, keep going. And if you look up, you wait too long, especially with 4 people, those dice are gone. And you're barely going to move and punch or barely going to do anything this round, which is rough when it's a game that lasts for 4 rounds. So you have to really move quickly. You almost don't choose the best option, you choose the quickest option to try to do as much as you can. So that right there, you may love it or hate it. You probably know hearing about it whether you're going to like it. For me, it actually works. I think it actually is good. But let's go into the components. Like I mentioned, the discs, I think I love the discs. The dice are great. The artwork is great. And this game, it's enjoyable. I mean, the whole thing is when you sit there and you have your planning phase, and then you set it out, and then as you move through that building, it is almost not a fighting thing. It's more of a John Wick style movie, right? I think in the 4th one, there's like this place where you see top down him going through, and it's just move, boom, boom, move, boom, boom. And it's just, that is what you're doing. You're clearing different rooms as you go through to the boss, or if you'd rather just go to the different rooms that kind of give you objectives, the different objectives in the den, you can do that as well. So you can avoid the boss altogether if you want to, and go for those den objectives, or you can go right for the boss. So that itself is really fun and rewarding, and really that plan will change depending on what you roll. because if you don't have like a lot of shoots, you're going to kind of avoid the henchmen that have the guns and don't want to go near them, and you're going around. And speaking of those henchmen, it's very simple what they do. You know, you have blockers, you've got henchmen, you've got the gunners, but they add really cool variety to that. So as you're planning that out, you're intentionally staying away from certain people, or you're going to them if you have the punches and the hits to take them out, like the 2-hit guys. So there's a lot in that. I really enjoy that moving through. And so the choices on the dice placement are great. I really like being able to roll those out, put them through, and then on top of that, when you start to upgrade and you start to feel powerful, and those upgrades have to happen quick too. Because again, this is 4 rounds. This is a very, very quick game. So if you upgrade, you're going to want to do it early, because if you upgrade towards the end, you might have 1 round to use that upgrade. So you're going to get those upgrades and also those kind of free abilities with binoculars and stuff. You get to circle. And then using the items, you can collect the items and then use them. And those are very beneficial. So at the end of this little short game, you're going to have a bit of an engine made. You're going to be a lot better as you weave your way through the map. It's very rewarding in the fact that this is a quick game. And it has to be quick by the fact that you're all doing that simultaneously. So there really is no AP on this. You can't have it or you're going to not get any dice. I mean, the AP happens when you're actually moving in the fighting phase and going through. So I love the fact this comes out quick. It has some variety with the different bosses. They don't change a lot, but they do have some different things on there that I really do enjoy. And it just flows really, really quick. And then at the end, when you're comparing everything, looking at it with other people, you compare your totals. And it's quick enough to play a couple times. So this game was very surprising how much I liked this game. I'm coming in at a 7.5 on this. This is a roll and write that I think we're going to get episode 1. We're going to put them both together in the same box. Find some way to do that. Because this is one that I think will hit the table a lot. It's very simple. You show them how to sit there and go at it. And it has a very, like I said, like a very John Wick style, like almost SEAL team move, like way to play. I really enjoy this for a roll and write. So again, this is something I would recommend looking at if you do like roll and writes and the theme intrigues you, because this is fun. You get to roll dice and you have a little bit of anxiety and you get to clear rooms. That was my gun noise. So anyway, that is a seal of approval from me, 7.5. That is episode 2, Vengeance Roll and Fight. Check it out. Boom, boom. It's a better gun.
Hey folks, thanks for joining us for that video. If you haven't yet, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hey, make sure you check out what's happening, where I'll cover an app on an iOS or a Switch device, and you can check it out along with me. Thanks very much. You've been watching The Dice Tower.